Welcome back to the channel, friends. Whether you're thinking to start investing or you've already been doing so for a number of years, there's probably a stage at which point you're going to have more than one stockbroker, probably if you're into crypto, also maybe a crypto exchange or hardware wallet, basically meaning you diversify your funds and money across different places, which is actually a really smart thing to do. And I really recommend it. And I do it myself. I have a number of stockbrokers that I use, plus crypto exchange. So definitely my money is in different places, which I feel good about and sleep peacefully at night. Problem though is it's hard to keep a track where all your money is. And of course also, how's your total portfolio doing? You would actually have to open each individual broker, add it all up and see how your total wealth is developing, because you might be up in one broker, but maybe bought some other stocks or assets in another broker or exchange, which are down. So the total is hard to see. And that's where portfolio trackers come in. And a number of years ago, I made some videos about it, and the landscape wasn't really good, to be honest, at the time. A lot of those were really clunky old school tools, which were not really user friendly, and you had to do a lot of manual input. But fast forward to today, we have a number of tools out there. I already reviewed a few of them in my channel. And for the longest time, I used GetQuinn, which is a really cool portfolio tracker as well. Also has auto synchronization and many other things. And especially for dividend investors, really cool and really enjoy it. The only problem though is I heard from a number of people is that they're not feeling comfortable entering the passwords in the broker through that app, because basically that's what you have to do to log in, even though you're only giving them read-only rights. It's still a little bit uncomfortable for some people, and then having to add it manually, which you can always choose to do, it kind of defeats the purpose, right, of having to go in, especially if you trade more frequently. You don't want to do that every time manually. So while it's still a great app, I think there's another alternative which I would recommend you to check out, the Delta Tracker, which is a really cool app. Honestly, I've been looking at them for a while, but finally I gave them a go, and so far I've been really digging the experience. Especially they have, of course, like most of them, have a free part, so you don't have to pay anything. If you want a few more features, you can upgrade to the paid plan, which is honestly reasonably priced. But I also show you a way how you can get it basically without paying anything, the Pro plan, so you get all the features without paying anything. Right, so as I said, the tool is called Delta, and yes, you see the eToro logo over here, but that's because they have been bought out by eToro a while ago. Now don't let this stop you. You don't have to be an eToro user to use the tool. It just happens to be part of the company now, but you can totally use it without ever having an eToro account. Obviously, if you do have it, it makes it more naturally and easier to sync, but you don't have to use it. And yeah, it just happens to be part of the company. Now you can see, obviously, I'm going to jump into the app right away to give you a deep dive. But yeah, really sleek interface, website. You can easily see what you get out of it. And yeah, you can track different things like stocks, crypto, ETFs, foreign exchange currency, NFTs also, commodities, indices. So really a number of different things. That's obviously very important for a portfolio tracker. And of course, here you see a number of the features that it has. And probably the auto sync feature for me is really one of the nicer things. It works really nicely. And then you get some really cool insights, which I also want to show you, that you may not be getting from your stockbroker, because some stockbrokers are quite limited in their functionalities. You can buy and sell, sometimes free of charge, which is awesome. But you don't get really many insights into that. So you might want to use that even if you only have one stock brokerage, to have additional insights into your portfolio, and it really gives some really nice statistics and insights. And of course, you can go to Pro. You don't have to, you can have a look. You can start on the free plan and see if you want to upgrade later on or not. Of course, with the Pro plan, you do get deeper insights, which you wouldn't be getting on the free plan. What's it been trending, why it's moving. That's also interesting. Sometimes it says the stock is up, but you don't know why. So here they really give you some very good explanations into that. Advanced metrics, unlimited connections. I think on the free plan, you can only connect 2 different connections, basically a crypto exchange and a stock exchange if you want to do, or 2 stock exchanges. But if you have more than 2, you would definitely have to upgrade to the Pro plan. And as for the cost, it's really quite reasonable. Honestly, on the yearly plan, it's $100. That equates to $8.30 per month, which honestly is what I spend on an overpriced Starbucks coffee over here in Dubai. But apart from that, obviously, I wouldn't recommend you to go on a monthly plan. $14 might be a bit expensive. So either on the yearly plan, or of course, you decide to open an eToro account, which I also did recently. I'll make a video about it very soon, but I'm really happy so far. They have something what they call eToro Club. And basically, the more money you deposit into the platform, they reward you for it, which is really nice. You have an incentive to deposit more and invest more, which is cool. So once, for example, the deposits reach 5K or more, you become a silver club member. And that basically gets you Delta Pro investment tracker free of charge. So the Pro version, where you save $100 a year, basically you get it free of charge. And obviously that's not the price you pay. It's your own investment, right? You put it to work. So I invest my 5K into an ETF, S&P 500, and as a bonus, I get the free tracker. If you want to check out eToro and try it for yourself, use my link down in the description below. Check it out. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy to help you along. But as I said, you don't have to. It's totally your choice. You can just go on the free plan, see if you like the app overall, and then maybe upgrade later on. It's totally up to you. Right, so with this, let's jump into the app and give you a tour of what you can expect. Now you can see already I have set up my app as a widget, which is really cool. You can basically long press on here and edit the widget. You can see different ways of displaying the information to you, but I quite like this. And yeah, it just gives you a total view of how your portfolios, all the different ones with your crypto and so on, are doing. So let's jump right into this. And the good thing is, it's also Face ID protected. In case you're wondering, it's available on Apple devices, of course also on Android. And now recently they also added a desktop app, and you can also use it on the web in your browser if you wanted to. So really different options of getting to view your portfolios. Right, so here we are right in my portfolio. I set this as my home screen, but most of the people by default will actually go to the Delta home screen, which is where you see all the various things. You can see already make this your home screen, but I prefer to see my portfolio right away. But here you can see, for example, the daily movers. I can see, markets are closed, right? In case I forgot, but obviously I know it's a weekend when I'm filming this. But yeah, you can see your wealth, how it's developing, upcoming events. This I really quite like. You see, what events are coming up in the future. So, for example, there's a big inflation data coming out. So you may want to wait to buy your stocks before or after, depending on what you think the numbers will be. So that's really cool to see right away. Some portfolio insights if you want to jump in, what's moving, what are the stocks and so forth. So honestly, that page is really quite insightful by itself. Of course, on the next tab at the bottom over here, you also have a quick overview of the markets, how they're doing. And then I also quite like, most actively traded, for example. You can see the top gainers, the top losers, the different cryptocurrencies, stocks, funds, what's happening. And then not only overall, but you can also drill in. Let's say you want to see what's happening in Europe. So I can see only Europe-related stocks. So in that way, I actually prefer it than some stock apps that I've been using. It's really intuitive, very straightforward. And these all things are available on the free plan. So you don't have to be an eToro user or be on the paid plan. For me, I also really like the indices tab, because here I can see right away how the different countries are doing. For example, if I go to all, I see all the global indices and basically see which countries are doing well, which are not. Obviously right now the stock markets are closed, so that's why you don't see many numbers moving. But during the week when I open it, I can really quickly get a glimpse of how the markets are performing, right? If I wake up in the morning and I see Asia in the red, well, I could assume that the S&P in the US later on, once they open a bit later, probably in many cases follows that, right? In this case, it might be a good time to buy some more S&P 500 if I wanted to. So these are just some of the thoughts of how you can use it. But yeah, even commodities, you can see, what's the price of gold, etc. Even other commodities, foreign exchange. So honestly, really beautiful interface to use. Then obviously the Delta logo in the middle, as I've shown you before, that's your main portfolio. And you can have different portfolios, right? Right now I have one main portfolio, but you could add another one if you want to do. But I basically consolidate my brokerages into one single digit over here. And honestly, right now, as you can see, I only have funds. So if I click into funds, you can see that's my main holding. So if I had different funds and different brokerages, they would all be listed over here. So it doesn't really differentiate right now between where the funds are. I'll show you that in a second how it works. But basically here it pulls it all into one. And that's right now my holding between eToro and Trading 212. That's my total ETF holding over there. Now my biggest funds are on interactive brokers. I haven't added them yet. I actually added them yesterday, but it takes 24 hours to populate. So unfortunately, I can't show you those numbers yet, but they do integrate with interactive brokers as well. So that number would be added on top of it here. If it was a different ETF, it would just be listed there as well, right? So I can just jump into here and see some stats and numbers around my holding. And you can see this is what you will see on the free plan, but you can see also show advanced metrics. I click on that and I get a couple of more numbers over here. And honestly, I really enjoy it. I see obviously the dividends, the total gains, unrealized gains, the percentage change. Then of course some more insights into the ETF itself. I can click on show more. So really quite useful. I can also go to discussions over here to see what people are talking about. That's obviously the feed that comes from eToro. So even you're not a user of it, you would still be seeing that discussion. So that can give you some insights there as well. And the cool thing is you see all your transactions related to that. So here, for example, I see my Trading 212 transaction. And of course, all my eToro buys here. Really, honestly, makes it very seamless, very easy. Sorry guys, little intervention by my financial advisor who wanted to discuss some serious business here. Hey Nutella, I want to say hello to the audience. Hello, my financial advisor. Yeah, any stock recommendations you have for us today? You can't disclose this? Sorry, it's not financial advice, it's puppy advice. As I said, if I want to see it in both brokerages, I would just add another account, but I like to see it that way. Now from here, if you wanted to add any manual transaction, for example, or any other brokerage and what have you, you can just click the plus button over here and you can see the various ways of how you can add transactions or brokerages to your portfolio. Now, obviously you can connect a wallet if you have, so click onto this and you can choose from various crypto wallets that are available. Now, obviously they don't support all of them, but some of the biggest ones out there, you could connect through the app as well. You can also connect directly to a crypto exchange. So if you want to go here, see the list of various crypto exchanges. And again, it's read only, which I quite like. They cannot do anything with your crypto, but obviously see and pull the transactions and numbers. So again, not all of the crypto exchanges are listed here. For example, Nexo sadly is not currently supported, but some of the bigger players, of course, they are over here. Then, of course, what applies to most people, connect a broker. So you can just go in here and then look for the broker you want to be connecting. Now, they say they currently support up to 10,000 brokerages, so really a lot of them. And the biggest ones are definitely supported. For example, obviously I connected for now trading 212. So that's very easy. You can do that over here. They also have interactive brokers, which was equally easy. So you just go into here. It shows you what it is, what it does. And here, what I really like, basically, it's through API access. So they really cannot do anything with your account. It goes through Snap Trade. So that's basically a trusted provider that is the interface between those two to communicate. It really runs you easily through what you have to do. And yeah, it's very easy. And interactive brokers actually just go inside and create an API address key. You put the key over here and the token. And that way the app basically only pulls the information. They cannot do anything. They have no access to your account. It's only read only to read the transactions and obviously your portfolio value and so forth. So for some of you that might feel more comfortable than having, for example, to go into Get Queen and add your user ID and even password, right? Even though you only still give them read access, but I know a lot of people have hesitance around that. So that might be a better way to use instead. And on Trading 212 is also very simple. Just go into your settings, look for the API key, copy it, paste into here, and once again you will give them read-only access. So yeah, honestly, very, very smooth. Of course, you can also always add manual transactions, but I never enjoy that because, well, I like the beauty of having it automatically synchronized, right? You can also connect to eToro. If you do have an eToro account, very seamless. You just log in with the user details and it pulls the data from there. And of course, if you have huge backlog of transactions, you can just import a CSV file as well to have all of them over there in case you use something like Portfolio Performance, which I used for a while, which is obviously a more elaborate tool, right? So you might have a long history of trades over there, so you could import it over here very easily. One cool thing is also if you have a second currency, for example, I prefer to see things in dollars now, but if I want to see quickly how much that would be in euros, I just click on it and boom, it immediately converts everything to euros. So very easy and a nice little feature there as well. And then at the top right, you see this blue icon over there. Just click on that and here you get portfolio insights. And that's really also a very powerful tool of the app as well. So you can see all the various things. Obviously, a lot of those things are on the Pro plan only, but if you dial into that, you can really get some nice insights. It compares directly your portfolio to the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100. In my case, I mostly own S&P 500, so my returns are the S&P returns. For example, good and bad decisions. It's really quite interesting. You can see some of the previous stock buys and sells that you had, and they evaluated since then. For example, bad decisions. But some of the stocks, for example, that I was holding, for example, Meta, since I sold it, it went up by 100%. So yeah, that was a bad decision, I suppose. But again, I have to say that these were usually free stocks that I got when anyone signed up on Trading 212, which if you haven't done, use my link down in the description below and you get a free share valued up to 100 euros. Both you and I will actually get it. So these are most of those stocks that I sold. So some of them turned out to be bad decisions, but it's still interesting to know. Obviously now I consolidate everything into the S&P. But yeah, portfolio diversity for me is pretty much all in one ETF, but for you it might be relevant to see that if you have different individual shares and what have you, for example, crypto and so forth. You see the different exchanges that you use. You see right now, majority of my holdings in Trading 212. Once interactive brokers is here, that will be obviously slightly different case. Even the fees, really interesting, they picked up. I'm not sure why the 73 cents fees. I believe it was one time when I exchanged on Trading 212 where they did charge me a little FX fee. But yeah, otherwise it'll be interesting once interactive brokers comes on here, because there I'm obviously paying a fee every time I do a stock buy. So that'll be interesting to see how much that added up over time, which as much as I love interactive brokers, those commissions, they can add up sometimes. So it will be really nice to keep a track on the fees here as well. Then of course from here you can continue. On the bottom you have the watch list over here. We can add any of the major assets to your watch list to keep an eye, even get price alerts, notifications right on your phone. So that might be useful. And of course, then we have the notifications here, where you get some insights tailored to your portfolio. Now, personally, I switched off most of the notifications, but you can really tailor it to what's working for you. Why it's moving, updates, so you can get that and so forth. But yeah, I don't really like too many notifications, but if you wanted to, you could get those over here. And then we go over here into the settings. In my case, I'm an eToro club member, silver. That's why I get the pro plan free of charge, basically. If you're not, then obviously you wouldn't be seeing this. I would suggest to click on auto refresh prices. So this just continuously updated every time you open the app. Of course, from here, you can also manage your various connections that you have. And you see all the various brokers. If you wanted to add one or not, it's very easy to do that from here as well, how often it should be refreshed. So that's really good to see. From here, you can also go into your portfolio insights, but we just had a look at that. NFT Explorer, I'm not buying NFTs. If you do, might be interesting for you. And of course, go into your settings. And some cool little UI tweaks. You can change from light to dark mode and even monochrome. So all the green and red will disappear. It will all be black and white. The top left button over there. In general, you can change a few things around. For example, your currency, as I showed you before, when I long pressed on my portfolio value, for example, it showed euros, but you may want to change it to any other currency, right? If you have a local currency that you usually use, you can change it over here. So I thought that was a really nifty feature. The landing page, as I showed you before, you can really choose whatever you want to have, either portfolio or home. So in my case, it's portfolio. And of course, if you're on the pro plan, you can disable advertisements, which I definitely recommend. In the view options, you can customize also further things, hide zero values, dark mode, show the portfolio chart. So under my portfolio, I could add a chart. I just don't see it, but you could do that as well. Your calculations also, you can kind of customize it how you want to see things displayed. Do you want to see your cash there or not? So really quite a bit of ways to customize the view and how you use the app and experience notifications. We looked at that before. Honestly, so far I've been really loving the experience, really user-friendly. Once I have my interactive brokers account added as well, I think it will really give me a better way of tracking my overall stock portfolio. In terms of crypto, as I said, right now they don't support Ledger Live or Nexo, my two exchanges and hardware wallets that I use. So I wouldn't also want to add them right now. I keep my crypto separate because I don't really transact too much with it. I have most of it in my Ledger Hardware Live wallet. So I just open it up once a while and see how the prices are doing. But for my stocks and ETFs, obviously, as I do use 3 different ones quite often, I do want to see them consolidated in one number. So for that, honestly, I in a way almost preferred to GetQuinn because GetQuinn recently got a little bit buggy once in a while. It's still a great app and tool, but as I said, privacy concern for some as well as the bugginess. Now, one point I really hope they do a better job in the future is the dividends. Now, even though I wouldn't call myself anymore a dividend investor, I used to really be quite hard and going heavy into dividends. I've now shifted away from it and really focused on real estate, Bitcoin, and S&P 500 ETFs. But still, even the S&P does pay me a dividend, right? A quarterly dividend is a small percentage, 1.4, 1.5%, but still, it does add up as your portfolio grows. So it would be nice to kind of visualize when the payouts are, the dates coming up, the amounts coming up, to kind of see that improving. And that way, GetQuinn is way better. So if you're looking for dividend tracking, I think in that way specifically, GetQuinn might be a better way. But hopefully they will be adding this. It's really an active community. They have made a lot of changes in recent times on the Delta app. So now they've been acquired by eToro, I can really see how they will be adding and working on dividends very soon, because I know a lot of people have been asking for that. So that's something just to keep in mind. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. It helps it to be seen by more people. Next up, check out this video here. As always, thanks for watching, stay healthy, get wealthy, and to see you in the next one. Ciao!